one. Rightio, Campbell's comments now. Catching up firstly with Nigel Fahy from Breckon Farms. Hello, Nigel.
G'day, Paul. How's it doing?
Very,
Nice
very
to be
well,
nice
mate.
to meet
It's
you.
that time of year again where you guys in New Zealand, full steam ahead, head down, bum up, yearling sale time, and I suppose Christmas is nearly here.
Yeah. It's been a long wait. We had a good sale last year, and we come away from that sale being pretty excited for what was going to come for this year, which is only a week away now. So um, everything's sort of gone pretty well with the prep and whatnot, and we've got 35 pretty nice horses that we're going to take to Karaka, get up there on Thursday morning, and hopefully all goes to plan, and we don't bring many home on or any home on next Sunday.
We discussed quite a few things leading into it, how we're going to do it and all the rest. I didn't run this one past you, so hopefully you're across it. But you sent me a thing about the stats the other day and the likes, and these are pretty impressive stats from the 2019 draft, which was basically 100% of those horses have made the track. They haven't just made the track, they're finished in the top three.
Yeah, that's right. We had 26 in that draft. That was prior to me coming on board here. Yeah, pretty proud of that fact. And yeah, 100% of them to the races, and obviously run in top three. 90, I think 94% of those were Breckon Breds, and I'm not 100% on how many were winners, but there's a fair few.
88%. You've done a good job because
There you go.
he is going from memory. So yeah, so they weren't the whole draft wasn't entirely Breckon Farms bred. That's where that interesting stat was. That's where I couldn't understand that one. But yeah, so you had a couple of outsiders.
Yeah, a couple of clients' horses that were basically born and raised on the farm, so basically Breckon raised, so to speak.
Can it be?
Um,
Can it have to be wrapped in that stat? Because that's
oh,
very impressive. I think anyone would be wrapped in a stat even remotely near that.
it's an unbelievable step. But just while I was waiting on your call before, I had a bit more of a dig into it and just going through the names of the horses. Of those 26, 10 have raced in Group Ones. 10 individuals. Two of them have won Group Ones, and three more have placed in Group Ones.
Wow.
One of those winners being Kai Valley Hotspur, who won the Victorian Derby last year, and also Better Call Me, who placed in the Breeders' Crown at the end of last year as well. So it's not bad effort.
No, we're going to highlight some of the horses. I think the first one we're going to actually highlight actually has Kai Valley Hotspur directly in his family. If it's not that one, there is definitely one we're going to highlight. You've had such good achievements, and we're going to touch on one in a little while. But a horse like Kai Valley Hotspur, he's a funny horse. He's done such an enormous job, yet over here he doesn't get the kudos, yet he should. Breeders' Crown, New South Wales and Victorian Derby winner, and for some reason he just has a little bit of a maybe not sort of thing about him. It seems ridiculous because he's such a beautiful horse and done such a great job.
Yeah, as a 2-year-old, I remember saying to Ken, I thought he was a wee way away from reaching his best. He looked all over a 3-year-old. And then what he done, winning that Victoria Derby, he looked like he just jogged that with one of the hot favourites on his back. But no, I'm pretty stoked with how he's gone, and hopefully there's more to come with him for sure.
I do. We will get onto these yearlings. I do a couple of. I do interviews with for Trots Vision and that over here, and fortunate enough to talk to Anthony Butt a few times. And I just asked him about travelling overseas, and it's always on Anth's radar to be able to go overseas. He reckons he's that sort of horse that could, in a year's time, be the sort of horse to take overseas and campaign and would compete against the best, which is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, that's lovely to hear. That's awesome to hear. It'd be great to be able to watch him. I'm sure Ken and Karen, that would be something. Ken's always up for a trip, so he wouldn't mind getting away to something like that.
Don't worry, I think Ants is always up for a trip too. I said to him, "Would you be going?" And he said, "Yep." So there was no hassles there. He was terrific. Rightio, we will start on these yearlings, and I did say, it is lot number one because I've just opened up the page. But this is going to be a very, very sought after filly, lot number 14, the Majestic Sun, and a Yankee Doozy.
Yeah, she's quite a big, strong filly, but she's pretty much bomb proof in what we've done with the yearling prep and whatnot. But what sort of is impressive about her, or or that you guys may not know, is it's the first filly out of that family that's ever been offered for sale. She's Yankee Doozy and Love You Doozy are sisters, and they're both and Love You Doozy is obviously the mother of Kai Valley Hotspur, so it's quite close up in the pedigree there. But lovely filly, and yeah, like I said, one of the first out of the family to ever filly to ever go up for auction.
Why? Like that must be a bit of a, I suppose, conundrum for Ken in a way, to move a filly like this off. Like she's a full sister to Forget the Price Tag, who's won 5 already, and then a half to American Pride, who's been placed in a Group 1. It must be a little bit of a bit torn to sell a filly like this at the sales.
We sort of sit down each year and try and work out what we'd like to retain and what we sort of can afford to sell, so to speak. We've got we're basically at capacity in terms of numbers we've got on the farm here, with brood mares and whatnot. So if we've already got the family covered, we're basically trying to sell them and give someone else an opportunity to sort of buy into some good families, because even at the end of the day, like Ken and I obviously don't get it right but all the time, but someone else might decide to breed it to a different stallion and it might come out a champion. So it all filters back to the pedigree on the page that is at Breckon Farms. So while we may lose the horse, you never know, it might turn out for better in the long run. But we've got that family pretty well covered with the likes of Yankee Doozy and Love You Doozy and a couple of other doozies that we're keeping as well. We've got a yearling filly out of Yankee Doozy, out of Love You Doozy that we're going to keep. Father Patrick filly that we're going to keep in race and hopefully come back into the broodmare band in a few years' time.
Must be a juggle. You say you sit down. I imagine you've got to sit down probably 2 or 3 times a year and just reassess where they're at. And with progeny winning, on both sides of the ditch, you must have to sit down a couple of times anyway and assess the yearling draft and what's coming up, even the weanlings coming through.
For sure. Every year Ken and I sit down and Karen as well, and sort of try and work out who we want to breed to and what's the have a crack at some new sires, or continue on the line that we've done with a few with the likes of Betters and Captain and likes of Father Patrick, so to speak. But it's with any of those sorts of things, it's sort of always a moving target, and we just try and make the best of what we can, and hopefully it all works out really.
Lot 35, it's the second one we're going to highlight, and it's another filly, and it's again down by the seaside, out of the race winning. Oh no, she only raced her once. Sorry, mare Call Me Baby.
Yeah, Call Me Baby. So she comes right from Ken's original purchase that got him into the game. The great granddam is Magira, who was Ken's first ever purchase. Is quite a well known story. But this Call Me Maybe, her first foal was Better Call Me, and which we just touched on before about running a placing in the Breeders' Crown last year, and then on Saturday night running second in I think it was the Hondo Grattan, the race where you run second in that at Menangle in good time. So he's qualified for the Chariots of Fire now as well. But this filly, she's actually we had a couple of down by the seasides on the farm, and I was really impressed with them. And the mare missed to Better's Delight a couple of times, so I thought we should probably have a crack at someone like down by the seaside, and she's got a nice upstanding filly as well. So being a first season sire, it's obviously probably not going to fetch as much as you would being a Better's, but it wasn't working that way, so we had to change tact, and we're pretty stoked with the filly we've got in this one. So yeah,
she is a cracking type. The filly seaside seems to throw that big strong type, doesn't he?
Yeah, and she's got plenty of leg about her, and she's nice sensible head on her as well to be able to do stuff with.
Don't worry, mate. You're promoting all the. I promote all the horses and all the stallions, but when you look after Woodlands, and I have a Woodland shirt because Ken hasn't sent me a Breckon Farms. He's as bad as NZB. I haven't got an NZB shirt either. Don't worry. I'll just keep dropping these little hints. So one day I won't have to buy any more clothes. So it'll be a lot of fun. But the Woodlands guys look after me, so it's all good.
Yeah, you got the Breckon hat though, so there's a start.
Yeah, not many people have one of these, I must say. So I think I was going to get a used one. I believe that I was going to have a used one, but I might have got a brand spanker, which was pretty good to see from Ken, I must say. So we move to an interesting one here. Now you've actually sent me a little tease on this horse. With a lot of the Australians will know Dead Cat Bounce, and it's a colt by Majestic Sun. What he does in the trotting ranks doesn't have to be told by anyone. Majestuoso, Sunday Sun, doesn't matter. He's just a cracking sire. Majestic Sun, he does a great job. But this horse, Dead Cat Bounce, she was a race winner over here in Australia. But there's a little bit more intrigue to the pedigree of this horse.
Yeah, she was something that I wasn't quite aware of either. Was the fact that she went 154 at Menangle back when 154 was a pretty fast time. It's obviously been beaten since, but like 5 or 6 years ago, that was a unheard of sort of race time, and she won a Group 1 at Menangle, the New South Wales Trotters Cup, I think it was. But even it doesn't actually show in the catalogue, but the pedigree update on this one is it's a family of Parisian artiste.
Yeah, so I think that's about where Il Parada and those come in. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of the New Zealanders, especially with your form, would know Parisian artiste, but he's just a sensational excitement machine over here. And he looks like a horse that next year he's going to get better and better, because he's still a finely built horse that gets better, like he's got a bit of a hitch in his gait. But that is really, really key that he does go back to that whole family, because I think that's through the Il Parada. Mercy.
I think Parisian artiste is out of, is it Schleck or Merckx?
Yeah.
That's sort of down that.
Yeah, so Merckx, she's out of Schleck, which is out of Merckx, and that's where, that same sort of family. You're right, that's exactly where it does come into it. So Third Dam Down, which is a little way, but very current and very powerful sort of a family and going there. As is the next one, and we're going to talk about the pedigrees firstly, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about how this, I suppose, reflects the farms. This is going to be lot number 166. We're going to highlight, what was the other one you were saying, 130?
Lot 66, this one, and then 137's the same family.
Yeah, the exact same family. So when people are watching this, please go to, and make sure you go to either Breckon Farms to watch all the videos, or go to NZB standardbred.co.nz to watch the horses. But yeah, these two are definitely very, very closely related, and are going to be incredibly sought after, especially this bay colt by Bettor's Delight out of Double Twist, mate.
Yeah, and like he's been a beauty the whole way through. He's a typical Bettors. He's like not much phases him. He carries plenty of condition. He just basically eats, sleeps, and drinks. And even when we put them on the walker for exercise, he's always dragging the tail and sort of just like taking it easy. But when he wants to, he can really like liven up, and like in the video and stuff like that, you can see he sort of just paces or trots along quite nice, and he's got a nice way of going about him. But he's just such a laid back sort of fella, and he's obviously got the bloodlines to match with the mare being a foal to Twist and Twirl, who's obviously the mother of King of Swing, and Better Twist, who's one of the fillies that Breckon Farms races here.
He looks like, just while we stay on him for the sec, he looks like he's got plenty of body. Like watching him there walk, there's plenty to him as far as strength goes.
Yeah, well, you've got to bear in mind that we've done these videos prior to Christmas just to get a bit of content out there for you guys. You can imagine what he's done with having he had 2 weeks holiday over Christmas. We always tip them out for 2 weeks there and bring them back, and they really transform that last sort of month. And like he's got a lovely big strong shoulder on him now, and we only completed our photos at the start of last week, so they're up on the on our website and the NZB website now, just to get an idea of what they have developed into. Also moving forward this week, we'll take weight and measurements or height measurements, so that you've got a real idea of what sort of size they are and what sort of body they've got. But yeah, he's got a nice big strong shoulder on him, and he's started to fill out through the neck and that sort of thing as well. He's a really nice type, so quite excited to see what will come of him at the sales next week.
He actually looks like a little bit of King of Swing, the way you're talking about him, and the neck. Like that's what I looked at the video there as I was editing it up, and must be, from the farm's point of view, you guys must have got out of bed pretty easy on Sunday morning and even Monday. I think you were working actually over the weekend. So, but when you see a horse like King of Swing and winning the Hunter Cup, but just the way he goes, like it must be such a fillet for the farm to see how good he is actually going, the horse.
Yeah, definitely, and we get a buzz out of it just watching him, and I watched it here on Saturday night. And then I get a message straight away from Ken. He's obviously watching it in Auckland, and a couple of messages from other people as well. So it doesn't matter where you are; like everyone's sort of tuned in and dialed into to watching these big races, and especially King. Like he does such a great job week in, week out, and he's such an amazing. Like even hearing Brittany Graham talking the other night, saying he's such an easy horse to interview after, not the interview the horse, but he wanders along beside, and you'd swear he hasn't had a race. And I love like the coverage over there seems to start a bit earlier just to get a shot of him where he's just standing on the track, just looking out like nothing bothers him, and then the whistle goes, and then in behind the mobile they get. But he's such a phenomenal horse, and he's really amazing horse, and it'll be exciting to see what comes of his progeny in years to come.
Well, and that's what I was going to say from Ken and Karen's point of view. Breckon Farms, you want to be known as the top quality breeders, and then King of your game breeding stallions is one of the more exciting parts to any breeding empire. So the fact that he'll be standing at stud, I did ask Nigel if he'd be standing at Breckon Farms, and I got a categorically no. I'm sure if I ring Ken, I reckon Ken's already building a stallion barn.
Yeah, he could be. You never say no, but I just, coming from Alabar prior to being here and understanding what it takes to actually stand a stallion and the MPI requirements and all that sort of stuff. It's just we've got a fair bit going on during the breeding season, and which then morphs into the yearling season. So to have stallions here as well, it's not impossible, but it'd be another headache that we could probably do without right now. But Ken's the boss, so we'll see what comes of it. But
I think too though, sometimes businesses knowing where you are at and what you do, and you look at this pedigree that you guys are, these pages that we're highlighting here in this sale. Like, I mean, if it's not broke, don't try and fix it, sort of thing. And you guys are doing an exceptional job and getting horses like King of Swing. You're still able to send horses to him, and I think whoever chose to breed King of Swing to that way too, I think hats off to them, because there was a yearling yesterday at the APG sale that topped the sale, one of the top selling colts, 110,000, bred across the same cross. Basically they went to work and went on him, and I believe he was a lovely type, and people went that way with him, so which is pretty exciting as well from a Breckon Farms point of view. No horse out of twist until in this year's sale, but next year you will have one. I've got a little foal on the ground by Better's Delight.
Just a little fella. He was born just after Christmas. The mare, she had some issues foaling, twist and twirl herself last year, we lost the yearling, the foal colt out of her just at 24 hours of age. So she had a few complications foaling, so we don't want to put her through that anymore. So we done an ET on her, and she had her ET had a little sort of Better's Delight colt just after Christmas. I think it was Boxing Day, or it might have been the day after. But he's bouncing around the paddock here, and he's got a bit of attitude about him as well. So hopefully he grows into a big, strong horse, which they seem to do here on the rolling hills. So
rolling hills, well done. Look at you go. I'm going to take a punt. It's this one here. Well, that one's sort of the rolling hills. Charlotte sent me through some photos, but there was this other photo that she sent me, and I was just like, no. It must have been the first one that I used. Where was that other photo? It must be here. These hills are just phenomenal. I haven't got it. For some reason, I've put the same photo up twice, Nigel. I've done a mistake, but it's amazing the hills that you guys have there. Do you get tired walking around the place?
We usually go on motorbikes, but quite often I go for a bit of a run at night or something like that, just sort of stretch the legs, because some days you sort of don't get out of the office very much, or just got tied up with other stuff. But it's good walking around the lanes and the hills at night or in the evening, just to get a bit of fresh air. But yeah, there's a few fair few inclines that take a bit of getting up.
We're looking forward to getting back over there. It looks like we might be able to get back over to the weanling sale again, the way things are starting to open up. But I'll definitely be coming out. I know Ken likes the way I do me stable chats and finding out behind the scenes. I'll be doing one with you guys because there's a lot of people who'll be intrigued about the farm and how it operates. So I think I can't wait to get there, that's for sure. Lot number 76 is the next one we're going to highlight. Another Bettor's Delight filly out of Good Looking Babe. This little filly is on screen right now, Nige.
Okay. So that's the family of, it's a full sister to In the Spotlight, who won the Group 1 over in WA as a 2-year-old filly. I think it was it'll be last year, I think.
Yep. 21.
So Greg Bond's got her over there. She's also a sister to, or half sister to, All American Lover, which is Stonewall Stud have up in, or down in Christchurch at the moment. But she's starting to be a filly that's sort of is really starting to strengthen up and go through the grades as well. So I think she runs second to Need You Now last week in the Breeders' Stakes down there in Group 2, and she'll be lining up in the Group 1. Well, it might be the Breeders' Stakes this week actually. Addington next week, this Friday night, coming up against Better Twist. So it'll be a bit of rivalry for the farm, but exciting all the same.
If they come out 1-2, they'll be happy. That's actually a real fillies family, isn't it? Because the second damn good-looking girl, mother of Ellie Mack and Miss Streisand, both high-class fillies here in Australia as well. So you can buy that filly. Like I always tell people, you got the residual factor of a broodmare, but you're pretty much buying this filly as a racehorse when you look at what the fillies have been able to do out of that family. You've got Mac 3, Christian Cullen back in the dam line. Bettor's Delight, ticks a lot of boxes as far as breeding for people to want to start off their breeding empire or establish studs that want to get some fresh bloodlines. Yeah,
that's right. And we've obviously got Good Looking Girl and Good Looking Babe, both sisters, and then we've got daughters of likes of Al Mac on the farm as well. And so we once again, it's sort of one that we probably could hold on to, but like we say, we can't keep them all, so we'll put this one up, and no doubt it should fetch a good price. But hopefully it sells as well. But if not, then Ken's always keen to race one if they don't fetch what we perceive as the market reserve.
Yeah, no, and I would imagine that's going to be a hard filly to. I'd say she's got a nice reserve on it because it's just a beautiful family, as I said, and it can work both ways. But I love seeing fillies in a pedigree that win and win group races and seem to go on too. So which all those horses have done. So that's actually really, really key. This next one, I actually can't say what I said when I was downloading the video when I first got my eyes on this horse. This is the Art Major colt out of Hot Hooves. He's an impressive horse to look at. Yeah,
he is. He is a lovely horse. He's built it's just a powerhouse. He's got a stallion's neck on him already, and he's one of the favourites with the staff here. One of our long-term employees, Phil Jeffries. He said he's been buying lotto tickets for the last month, hoping that he can win it so that he can buy this fella. But he's such a little dude to do anything with as well. He's like the kindest little fella, but obviously it's got that pedigree with Hot Footed, who he's been winning over who's won 10 in WA, and I think he won again last week or the week prior. And then also Hot and Treacherous, who ran a placing in the Jewels here last year, and he's one of the he pushed Krug to a half head or something at a mile at Cambridge about a month or so ago. So he's a horse that has sort of gone through the grades and you'd expect would line up in a New Zealand Cup and potentially be a Grand Circuit horse next year.
Yeah, and being by Art Major, they go on. He's done a great job. Art Major continues to do a great job. It's just he'll be a real well sought after colt. But yeah, I must say the adjective that I used started with an F, and then I was like, well, I can't actually say that when I'm talking with Nige. But yeah, I was just wow. So really, really cracking type. That is lot number 87, and I must say there's another horse in there. A lot of Australians will remember him, Cincinnati Kid for Mark Peace.
That's right. Yeah,
he was a cracker. Yeah, he was a cracker, and he was a good looking rooster like that bloke too. Like he really stood up over a lot of ground, and yeah, nice looking horse that one was. And then the last one we're going to highlight, but definitely not the last one of your draft, and we'll go through that in a second. But the last one to highlight is a filly out of the Muscle Hill mare Luby Lou by Father Patrick. This would be another tricky one for Breckon Farms to be putting up for sale.
Yeah, definitely. There was one we sort of ummed and ahed over, but we've kept a couple of fillies for various reasons last year, trotting fillies, or that are just yearlings as well. So we sort of thought, well, we can't keep all the trotting fillies, and while it is the first filly out of Luby Lou, or the first foal out of Luby Lou, once again we got Luby and the mother, and then we've got she's only produced two foals of racing age, them being Tickle Me Pink and Luby Lou herself, who are both Group 1 winners. And they're very young mares as well. They're only Tickle Me Pink's just had her first foal, and Luby Lou's this one here was her first. So, and it seems to be a family that does produce a lot of fillies. So we thought, well, there's a high chance that we'll end up with another filly down the track, whether it be the second, third, or fourth foal. We're not sure, but once again, like a big, strong, well-grown filly that no doubt will take the eye of a few breeders, both here in New Zealand and over in Australia, and potentially even further afield. But I think, like she's definitely what we said before about if you're looking at buying into or starting out a breeding empire, wouldn't be the worst way to start, I don't think.
No, and the way the trotters are going, it's incredible. Garland, Hanover, and Valley Victory double cross in the pedigree too, which is key. And the trotters are really interesting. I know there's lots of studs that get there. I suppose kudos for bringing the trotting and improving the trotting ranks. Rasta Trotters, Aldebaran Park, quite a few. Breckon Farms, the depth in your trotting category is pretty deep, isn't it? And especially in the fillies department, as to what you guys are got on offer.
Yeah, it is. It's we're pretty spoilt for choice, really. We've got some really lovely, like, young mares, the likes of Highgate. She's produced a couple of fillies, and they're like the feedback we've had on how they're sort of progressing is quite exciting too. So, but yeah, we don't miss for the trotting mares on the farm, that's for sure. And yeah, we don't have an awful lot of them, but the ones we do have, they're pretty high class. So yeah, pretty happy.
That was going to be my next question. How many of them do you have? But obviously not a lot, but just the right ones.
Yeah, I'd say like we've probably got about 50 of our own mares on the farm. If I had to take a guess, I'd probably say somewhere between 15 and 20 of those are trotters and 35 are paces.
That's still a healthy mix, as I said. Like, you've got some farms like the two I just mentioned there. They're solely trotting farms, but as far as a lot of the other farms, I would say that's as up there with as good a mix as you can get. And I think the way the trotters are going, we just had the Great Southern Star the other night. It was terrific, back to the same format, and the likes of the way they do go. You guys are able to send horses over here to win the Oaks, like Queen Alida, what she was able to do last year here in Australia, and that I think a lot of more people need to sit up and be aware of what the trotters are doing, and that you've got a couple of nice fillies in there that are very well trottingly bred, so they should be sought after and looked at. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. And we actually, one of the Breckon racing syndicates, we sent the Highgate's first foal, Love You, called High on Love. We sent her over with Josh Dickey to try and have a crack at that, the Redwood and also the
Breeders'
Crown, but unfortunately it all sort of turned a bit pear-shaped, and she's got a bit sort of just trained off a bit and looked like she was needing a bit of a spell. But I think like she's probably one that's in for a good campaign somewhere down the stretch once she sort of matures a bit more. But she's a lovely filly. Like, she beat the older horses here prior to going over there, which sort of encouraged us to take the punt. But unfortunately on the day she sort of wasn't good enough. But at the same time there was a few excuses. But so she stayed over there with Josh Dickey and Sammy Kilgore, and hopefully we can see her name up in lights in the not too distant future.
Going to catch up with Josh and Samuel. We had a discussion there about a month ago, and I'm going to go there and catch up with them, so I might be able to give everyone over there a bit of an update as well. But it's one of the great things I enjoy about breeding, when you get the catalogues out and you have a look at horses and you talk about a horse like Highgate and you're like, Wow, she's already a broodmare, but and you can sort of reminisce about them. I think that's we all love breeding. Anyone that's watching this now love their breeding and love the way little things come out from time to time. And I think it's key. And Ken's no different, is he?
No, that's right. And we, like I said, we like Ken. He's like you were talking about the hats off to breeding King of Swing, that rock and roll Hanover cross. Ken, he loves his breeding. That's his sort of passion, and like he loves doing the study and like working it out. And he had a good look through the American breeds back in probably 5 or 10 years ago now. And rock and roll Hanover was one that sort of was really like making a real good go of it over there and winning a lot of races. And I think the hoofbeats just arrived yesterday, and he was out studying it last night just for the new season. But it's interesting the stats and that come out of there, and what it sort of produces down the track for like both the American breed and our own, because right now we're not that far apart anymore. We used to be a fair way, but it's changing a bit.
And again, you guys don't get the Trots Vision coverage as we get over here, but they put it on a thoroughbred channel over here, a channel called racing.com, the Hunter Cup the other night, and there was a thoroughbred guy who was doing the interview, so you got a couple of left of field questions, I suppose, and one of the questions he did say about King of Swing was, would they send him to America to stand at stud? And I think sometimes timing can be everything, because if I say this, you'd say, you'd think, no, he's kidding, and all the rest. But at the time, they had the camera on his shoulder, on his neck, and you say about how relaxed he is, and he was walking back. Rock and Roll Hanover's dead. There was a few things, and you look and you're like, he possibly could make it. Like, if you said it to someone in the pub, they'd laugh at you and say, no, that had never happened. But it was just one of those timing things. It was a silly question, but I don't think it was that silly. And maybe we can think about it. If it's not King of Swing, it might be something that King of Swing leaves in the next progeny, that we might be able to send them to America and stand them over there ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's right. Like the Americans, they're probably more in love with the rock and roll Hanovers and that rock and roll line than the New Zealand and Aussies are. So it's probably not the most. To be honest, I hadn't really thought of it, but it's probably not the silliest question around.
If I could have got the video footage at the same time as what Mick Felgate said it, you could say, that could work, because he just looked smick. He had every vein in his neck and that popping because he'd just finished his race. But it was just a really, really good thing. The New Zealand National Standardbred yearling sale commences on the 13th of February, which is this Sunday at Karaka. I don't know what time it starts, actually, Nigel, and I'm not going to throw you under that. I'll keep trying to find it. When does your draft arrive at Karaka? When will your horses be there?
We'll head up on Thursday morning, and just sort of let them settle in for the first sort of afternoon, evening, and then we're basically ready for parade any time from mid morning on the Friday, Saturday. Saturday night we've got the Harness Millions here as well, and then Sunday we start selling, and I can tell you the sale starts at midday on Sunday.
You beat me to the punch by about one page. I was like, it's got to be here somewhere. And they roughly get through about 30 an hour, but I reckon sit back and tune in. For the Australians, just go to the NZB Standardbreds. They'll have the live stream on there, so we'll be able to tune into it anytime it's in. I love watching it and enjoying it like a lot of Aussies do, so it'd be interesting. Register, contact the guys, contact Cam, Rachel, anyone at NZB Standardbreds. Make sure you register to bid on any of these horses for Breckon Farms. Any of the horses in the wholesales, like Ken won't mind me saying, any horse sold back to Australia is good for New Zealand racing, and it keeps the breeding game ticking along, so we want to make sure we do that. But preferably Breckon Farms. We'd rather all the Breckon Farms drafts be sold first. Isn't that right, Nigel?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hopefully everything goes well, and I wish everyone all the best for potentially buying some, and if they do, all the best with their racing careers as well.
Anyone wants to ask about any of the yearlings, and I know you're going to say yes to this, but just give you guys a call there at the farm, or give you a call direct.
Yeah, 100%. Got any questions, queries, or want to see a video, or send an actual video of it walking at the parade, or up at Karaka or anything like that, more than welcome to give us a shout. Phone numbers in the catalogue, and we're happy to help you out however we can.
And I just on that the fact that you'll be viewing on from Friday and parts of Saturday, just be aware that like there are COVID issues. So make sure perhaps ring the venue and make sure that you're right to get into. So just a bit of forward planning. Not going to be as simple as just rocking up and rolling in like it has been in years past. So we want people to be aware of that. Definitely going to get to look at the horses. We just need to make sure that people, probably plan a little bit longer. You might not be able to get onto the venue for half an hour until some people leave or something. So just make sure you do tick all the boxes, basically.
Yeah, I think you have to pre-register prior to even going to the sale, and then you'll be given. You got to show your vaccine pass and all that sort of jazz at the front gate. But they're going to operate a couple of pods at least, and just so. But they usually do a full parade on the Saturday around the outside ring, but they're not going to do that this year just because of social distancing and that sort of thing. So more than happy to parade to individuals or small groups, with so long as they're in the same bubble, and we'll just do that at our barn, which is I think it's barn B at Cracker, and we'll just parade out in the wide open spaces. So there shouldn't be too much close contact or anything like that. So and we obviously all wear face masks and double vaxxed, and some of us even boosted now. So
yep,
it's all. I think we're doing what we can to in a sort of difficult situation, and sort of just trying to make the most of it, really.
Here in Australia, we're probably going to touch better than what you guys are and get past it. So I can promise you, all you Kiwis, you will get past it. It's just a bit frustrating and go from there. But just at the end of the day, I think if you allow just that little bit extra time, like you said, if you're vaxxed and everything, just allow a bit extra time. Don't think you're just going to zip in and zip out. I would imagine from you guys' point of view, and Woodlands and everything, and Alabar, all of those guys, the hospitality part of it will be the unfortunate part this year, because having been over there for the weanling sales and seeing how you guys put it on, and everyone says to me, well, wait till you come to the yearling sales, and for 2 years that hasn't happened, but I'm looking forward to it next year. It's part of the sale, the whole sale thing, but that'll obviously take a different twist this year, but it'll be a different feel, but still make it a lot of fun, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, the whole hospitality would be dialed right back this year, but at the same time, I'm sure we'll be able to have a couple of cold ones in the fridge if someone's needing one. But we've got a few sort of open spaces, like I said, where we can sort of sit down and sort of spread each other out, and people don't mind leaning on a rail having a beer while they're watching a few horses parade as well. So, but we're mindful of the fact that we're in this situation, and we just got to, like I said, do the best of what we can, and make sure it all works out well for the benefit of everyone in the whole industry, really.
Absolutely. Nigel Fahy, thank you very much. As I said, get in touch with Nige, Ken, Charlotte Mooney. Any of the guys will help you out and try and assist in any way you can. If you're here in Australia, or if you're in New Zealand on the South Island and you want to look at some of the horses, get in touch and contact them. Mate, thank you very much for your time. Good luck on the weekend. Good luck to Ken and everyone else behind the scenes. And keep doing what you guys do. I think a little bit of the promotion with the journey of the yearlings, their preparation, how far out it was and that, I love it. Got to keep thinking outside the square. I keep saying this to people, got to promote in the right way. So keep going the way you guys are going. I think it's great. So thank you very much, Nige.
Thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate you having us on, and look forward to hosting you here sooner rather than later.
Ditto.
Okay.